Welcome back to Catalan Soccer, guys. I'm Catalan Ben, and in today's video we are talking shin pads and player safety. Why has it suddenly gone to a fashionable craze to have these tiny shin pads that don't protect your players? We're going to be looking into the do's and don'ts, what your club should be doing to protect your players, and most importantly, how this all came about. Now, these small shin pads that have become a craze amongst young players, I've seen them appear in my sessions and been very confused as to why any brand or any company would be selling shin pads that don't actually protect a player's legs. I first found these through a website that was selling grip socks that claimed to improve the grip inside your boots. And with every pair of grip socks that they were selling, you would gain a pair of these tiny shin pads that were literally no more than 4 or 5 centimeters in height that didn't protect a player's legs. This seems to stem from professional players that want to look really cool and not look like they're soft and have the smallest shin pads possible while still not breaking the laws of the game, which says that they do have to wear shin pads. But if the laws of the game say that you have to wear protection on your shins, then why do the laws of the game not state that there must be a minimum dimension of those shin pads? So now it's getting to the stage where players are wearing shin pads that are not much bigger than a thumbnail, but are still able to be worn on a professional pitch. This issue has then forced lots of clubs across the UK and America to now be saying, should we allow our players to wear them? Should kids be able to train in them or not? And because the governing bodies aren't giving any guidance either way and are staying quiet on the subject, it then means that clubs or individual team managers are having to make a decision on whether their players are going to be allowed to wear them or not. Now, first things first, when it comes to player safety, you should be trying to maximize your player's safety. You'd never let a player wear without any footwear on and run around in their socks because it would be unsafe and bones could be broken. So why would it be any different when we're talking about shin pads? Players need to be covered and safe, and make sure that your players have got full-size shin pads on that cover as much of their shin as possible to maximize their safety. Now, that might take some clear communication to your parents. Let them know that they have to be wearing correct shin pads and that these smaller ones are not acceptable for training or for matches. It does beg the question, are your players all wearing shin pads? Are you checking shin pads before every training session and every match to make sure that your players are fully protected? If you're not doing already, you would be surprised how many kids will turn up to a session and either assume that it's okay to train without shin pads or just say that they forgot week after week after week. So get strict with it and make sure your players are wearing the right protections. The second thing that's really important is we need to put pressure on the governing bodies, the FA or anybody else who's in charge of football across the country, across Europe, across America. They need to be putting some stamp down on this to say that these tiny shin pads that are not protecting players, that are not maximising safety, shouldn't be worn or be acceptable. And without that blanket system to cover it for everybody, and all that's going to happen if we don't get a blanket system like that is then players are going to try their luck, players are going to end up getting hurt, and then people point at the clubs for whether they're insured, whether they're protecting their players properly because they're not wearing the right safety equipment. My best advice is to absolutely point blank refuse to allow players to wear these or to even enter your sessions or your matches without their shin pads on, in the same way that, like I said, you wouldn't allow them to not wear the proper footwear. And my final point on this is professional players need to take a little bit more responsibility. We all know that every single player that loves football looks to their role models, whether that's male or female. They are watching the professional game and seeing what they do, how they behave, what they wear. They all want the same boots as Mbappe wears. They all want to wear their hair the same as Haaland does. They all want to copy and emulate those players that they see on the screen. So those professional players need to take a long, hard look at themselves and think, hang on a minute, what example am I setting to young children who could be much more likely to get hurt, who could suffer really bad injuries just because I want to have these tiny shin pads on that don't even protect me anyway? Professional clubs shouldn't be allowing their players to do it, and you certainly shouldn't be allowing your players to do it. That's my take on things. Let us know what you think in the comments. Are these a good idea? Should they be banned altogether? Most importantly, what responsibility do professional clubs have to stop these kind of things from happening and looking after the grassroots game and our youngest players, the next generation of footballers? Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. See you soon.